size of the sun, Atlas, half the size of the sun, coming at ya. Half the size of the sun, Atlas, half the size of the sun, coming at ya. Half the size of the sun, Atlas, half the size of the sun.
What is up, guys? Just want to make sure you know real quick, this is a live call-in show. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else who helps with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with the professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that being said, tonight's show is going to be absolutely wild. Hopefully we can get it to go through all the way through. My name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. If you've never seen us before, we of course have our main channel, Marfoogle News, at 154,000 subscribers over on YouTube. We have this channel, 113,000 subscribers on YouTube, Marfoogle TV, and then we have our wonderful family who is watching right now over on DLive. Of 15,000, almost 15,500 of you guys. We've been over there for a couple months, so I really, really appreciate all of you guys that followed me over. Now, we're going to get right into it. We've got a lot of news to cover, and then we're going to take your calls. The number for that is actually going to be scrolling down below at 224400MARF. You would press option 4 once you get to our phone tree. Once you do that, you will most likely get a hold of Dex. Dex, let's do a sound check real quick. Dex will be screening the calls. He helps produce the show. He also helps back our stuff up. In fact, we're even going to have the caller's info down below on our website, which is organized by thumbnail. You can actually go to this thumbnail on our website, and then you will be able to see all of the news that we have covered previously and anything that is coming up in the future. So when you go to this, you'll actually see this Atlas is nearly here. Click on that, and you will actually get all of the articles. And we make sure that we source our stuff. We make sure that they're approved sources when we go on all platforms. So you guys know that this is, as far as this isn't info that's going to get debunked tomorrow. This isn't the Inquirer. This isn't, whatever you call it, that other site that does stuff that says we're all going to die or something. This is all backed up. Now, some people go, well, that's mainstream. Yes, we go over mainstream and then we talk about it. We talk about the stuff we notice. We talk about the things that we are seeing in real life, and then we compare. Also, we do a DLive only show, which will happen tomorrow. We almost did it tonight. But then again, because there's a lot of things happening that we really need to talk about, that we need to address, but we can't do that everywhere. And that's kind of sad, but at the same time, I completely understand. So we're going to talk about the pink moon. We're going to talk about the comet that's approaching. We're going to talk about, obviously, the event that is changing our lives as the minute goes by. People are feeling better. There's a lot of hope out there, and I'm not here to take it. In fact, I'm here to help you guys stay safe and stay informed. Really, that's one of our goals here. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my co-host and screener of calls, Dex. Are you there, and can we do a sound check real quick?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle fam.
So we had a slight tiny issue. This is a live show, so if it cuts out buffers or anything else, you can always try popping right back out of the stream and then pop right back in, whichever platform it is. Close your app, open it again, and then start over. If you lose chat over on D, then you can actually just exit out, close the app completely, go back in, and it will fix itself 99% of the time. If it's buffering, the one thing that I will say is that the internet is overwhelmed right now, or at least they say it is. What's funny is they have these faster speeds, which I won't even say the number and letter that coordinates with that. But those faster speeds, everything, we're talking about gigabit speeds on home networks, and they still don't have enough power for people to do what we're doing. So who knows what's going on here. As far as everything that's going on, we have some predictions to make tomorrow, so make sure to tune in for that. But we're going to give you the information that you crave here, and then we're going to get through that, and then we're going to open up the phone calls. We've got a lot to get through. And just a reminder for those who are new here, we do not talk badly about the callers, no matter what they sound like, if they're half-crocked, whatever it is. We treat them with respect. We also treat the other people in the chat with respect. Usually it's a pretty big chat. We haven't had one under 2,000 for a while. So that's a lot of people, and not everybody's going to agree. The whole thing is that your family, guaranteed, even if you are totally on the polar opposite of somebody else in the chat, I guarantee you have friends or family that think you're crazy or think that you're weird for what you believe. We're trying to make a space that doesn't have that, where we can all talk freely and then say, okay, you believe that, I believe this. Let's move on. Let's talk about something else, and let's find some common ground here. So we're going to get into that. And the pink moon, the Chernobyl disaster that just apparently happened here. Let's cover this real quick. You haven't heard that name in a while, have you? It says Ukrainian officials have sought calm after forest fires in the restricted zone around Chernobyl, scene of the world's worst nuclear accident, led to a rise in radiation levels. It says firefighters said that they had managed to put out the smaller of two forest fires that began at the weekend, apparently after someone began a grass fire, and had deployed more than 100 firefighters backed by planes and helicopters to extinguish the remaining blaze. It says the fire had caused radiation fears in Kyiv, Ukraine's capital, which is located about 60 miles south of Chernobyl exclusion zone. Government specialists on Monday sent to monitor the situation reported that there was no rise in radiation levels in Kiev or the city suburbs. So one thing to think about here, and I'm sure there's people that are questioning, was this done on purpose? I'm not saying it is. I'm not over in Kiev or over in Chernobyl. But obviously, fears are heightened right now because of everything else going on. And, politically, it's kind of on fire right now. So, again, I hope that this doesn't turn into anything worse. I know that a lot of people have some very heated opinions about the original place in the first place. So, we will mention that again tomorrow as well. So let me see here. I want to make sure that we got this good so you guys can see everybody. Okay, so let's talk about the bright pink moon in the room here. So a lot of people are talking about Atlas. A lot of people are considering a lot of things, and I've been sent a lot of things in my email, and I've noticed a lot of things myself. One thing that I was actually thought was kind of funny is that Volkswagen just came out with a new vehicle called the Atlas in 2020. I believe it came out in 1919 or 2019, so technically the 2020 came out like before this happened. So I just thought that was kind of funny, considering this was discovered in December. And this thing is giant. One thing I wonder, too, is how big this thing is and how fast it is going to be in our solar system. How did they only discover it in December? Dex, does that kind of make you wonder? This thing is half the size of the sun and is, when they discovered it, 3 months away from coming in. Why did they not see this before? Why, how... Has this thing been out of our solar system? Like, how do you notice, not notice something like that if you're looking in the skies all the time? It's literally half the size of the sun. Did it come from our solar system? How would they not see it if it was in our solar system, since you've got observatories all over the world literally looking up at all times, looking at this kind of stuff?
Yeah, that's crazy, Adam. I guess it depends on what type of technology they're using to sense objects, but like the technical part of this object is really small, but the visual part of it is really big, right? The big part is this atmosphere of the comet itself. So yeah, it is really odd that we only just discovered this thing, a few months ago.
I honestly don't understand. I mean, to put this into size perspective, this is not only larger than Jupiter. If you've ever seen even like a schoolroom kind of scale comparison from Earth, which is like if you were to put it, my thumbnail, and then you've got my thumbnail being Earth, this being Jupiter, and this screen being this thing, and then the sun being twice that. How did they not see this thing flying around? They say that the icy core of this comet might only be a couple miles wide. which is really crazy because the Earth is 8,000 miles around, or so they say, and just 2 or 3 miles of that would be the core of that. So just tiny, from here to the grocery store where you live, right? Just that big, and it's got something half the size of the sun. It was something like 40 times or 50 times the size of Earth around it. The atmosphere around it is that big. How did they not see this earlier? That's what super confuses me. We have a solar system. Of course, they're always discovering new stuff. They don't see the whole thing at the same time. But usually the asteroids, just like Apophis comes around like 4 times, right? It comes back. It comes in 2029. It comes in 2036. It comes in 20 whatever. It's like, that means it goes around in circles. Where did this one come from? How did we not notice this the last 30, 40, 50 years that we've been looking up with, newer technology? It's very confusing to me. It says, bright Comet Atlas could blaze into view this month. There has been a lot of talk in recent days on social media regarding the approach of a new comet that could possibly evolve into a spectacular sight in the coming weeks ahead. Which, by the way, people like I want to say Mike Morales, Mr. MBB333, one of my favorite channels. He has been talking about this 2 months before, or literally he talked about it right when it was discovered. He said it could turn into 6 tails and all this other stuff. Like, that guy was on it way, way before anybody else. They're saying that this could be the comet of a generation. So when I was a kid, what was it? It was Hale-Bopp, and then Halley's Comet. Are those two? Those are 2 different things, right?
Yeah, Halley's Comet came first,
and then
when
Hale-Bopp.
I was a kid, and then Hale-Bopp probably when you were a kid.
So I saw Hale-Bopp. When I was a kid, and it was amazing. I still remember it, vaguely. I don't even know what year that is. 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I was a little kid, and I remember that was the first day that I saw my first genuine UFO, and I remember telling my grandpa. I remember everything about that. I saw a triangle of lights, and it rotated and just flew away. I have not seen anything like that since then, and I will never forget that. And that's basically why I've looked up my entire life, is because of when Hale-Bopp came through. I saw a triangle, essentially like straight out of a movie. The 3 dots, like 3 stars, no ship, just 3 stars, go like this, twist, and then fly away. And I could see them going, choo. This is way before drones, way before any of that. It didn't look like a TR-3B or whatever the military class triangle was. It was literally like, choo, choo, boom. It was wild. And I remember everybody was up in the street looking. It was just wild. It's sort of weird to look out down your street, kind of like with the solar eclipse, right? When the solar eclipse happened, everybody on the street, everybody in the world is just looking up, right? It's a weird scene. It's out of a movie. We're literally living in a movie every day now. It's always like a super moon, super blue moon, solar system moon, freaking, just crazy moon every day. So I remember this. It says the comet has been critinized. You're a witness to the critiness. Sorry. The comet has been christened Atlas, which is an acronym for Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, ATLAS, a robotic astronomical survey and early warning system based in Hawaii, optimized for detecting small near-Earth objects a few weeks to a few days before they impact Earth. It's kind of scary, a few weeks or even a few days. And by the way, Atlas gets a lot of things like right as they're about to hit, like 2 days before, and then some as they pass, like huge ones the size of the Empire State Building, just whizzing right past, and they don't even see it until after it's gone by. Or so they say, right? It says, but besides finding asteroids, 19Y4. That is just super weird with this whole thing, right? When first sighted on December 28th, 2019, the comet was exceedingly faint object, but in the days and weeks that followed, it brightened at an incredibly rapid pace. It says, in fact, from the time of discovery through March 17th, Comet Atlas increased 27,500-fold in brightness. Is that not the craziest thing you've ever heard of? This thing got 27,500 times brighter in the period of 3 months. This is absolutely insane. That's why I think that this is much bigger than anybody even thinks it's going to be. It's going to, they say it's going to be brighter than the moon, brighter than all this. This is just, it makes you wonder. Such an incredible rise in luster, plus the fact that calculations showed that it was moving in orbit virtually identical to the Great Comet of 1844, suggested that Atlas was on its way to becoming a dazzling object. Indeed, some calculations suggested that when the comet arrives at perihelion, its closest point to the sun, on May 31st, that it might rival the planet Venus or even the full moon in brilliance. Which, by the way, it's just, I've thought that for a while now, the Venus planet has just been like, does it seem to me like it wasn't really talked about? All of a sudden, instead of the North Star being the brightest star, all of a sudden we have this just incredibly just gigantic, huge star, right? And everybody's like, well, that's Venus. That Venus just popped up out a few months ago, and now it's visible every single night, and it is the brightest thing in the sky. I don't even know where the North Star is anymore, because that used to be the brightest star. Now it is Venus, and Venus is so flippin' bright. I mean, it looks like you can just reach out and touch the thing. And then somebody emailed me and said that the solar system is shrinking. I thought that was wild. Because some say that the solar system is expanding, but somehow the planets would, get closer as it expands or something like that. It was a weird email. It was very interesting. I liked reading it. But again, they said a lot of stuff that I was like, whoa, this is just kind of wacky. It says, but based on observations made over the past couple of weeks, that doesn't look very likely to happen. So it says, for all intents and purposes, Comet Atlas hit a wall on March 17th. Ever since that time, the comet's incredible rise in brightness has dramatically slowed. Over the last 2 weeks, the comet has brightened by only about 0.5 magnitude. Magnitude is measured of brightness used by astronomers. So why did it all of a sudden stop getting brighter? That's kind of weird too. You know what I mean? I just thought that was...
What if it's slowing down?
Oh, man. What if it's like a mothership?
Mm-hmm. It's putting on the brakes, getting ready to come in.
That's freaky. That is pretty freaky. I've got... hold on. I've got some other ones here regarding this. Hold on here. What do you think about all this, Dex? I'm going to pull up this other Atlas piece here.
Well, it's interesting. I'm still hung up on the fact that it's such short notice. It's a really large object. We should have seen it coming. I think the orbit on this thing is really, really long. Obviously, if it's just now coming around and we haven't tracked it before, so it's obviously thousands and thousands of years in orbit. I think, they've said, what is it, like 77 million miles would be the closest we would get to it. But who knows if that's actually accurate. I mean, we've seen some NEOs actually strike the planet that they didn't even know existed. And we've seen some that they tracked and they didn't realize they were tracking them that close. So, all this tracking capability we have is not really that good. It's good that we have it because we want to try to find these things before they hit, but at the same time, it's obviously not an exact science.
And bringing this back to scientific terms, so it says approaching Comet Atlas might be fragmenting, astronomers reveal. Okay, so this sentence alone, that kind of puts a lot of things in perspective if you were going with this theory, right? It says astronomers revealed that the massive comet that's approaching Earth might be breaking apart. According to their data, the comet, which could be bright enough to be spotted by the human eye, is starting to fade. The comet known as C-2019 or Atlas caught the attention of astronomers from around the globe shortly after its discovery December last year. Based on their observations, the comet's brightness has been increasing. Though the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, the Atlas, I mean, what really freaky is that the Atlas, the Last Alert System, got this thing. And it says astronomers were able to monitor the approaching comet. According to astronomers, the comet's unusual brightness was caused by the massive atmospheric clouds surrounding it. The astronomers estimated that the cloud around Atlas has a diameter of 720,000 freaking kilometers. That's 500,000 miles, something like 440,000 miles. That's insane. Due to its brightness, it says, and the size of the cloud, astronomers believe that the comet will be visible to the human eye when it reaches its closest distance from the Earth, which is expected to happen in May, according to the astronomers' data. The comet is expected to approach the planet from 73 million miles away. So at 73 million miles, is this something we need to worry about? Most people are saying no. As far as my concern about this is, are they telling us, are the numbers correct? Are with the Sunspot Observatory shutting down and all of this other stuff? I just wonder if they would tell us. What if? Here's a very big positive too. Just say what if Atlas got it, and say maybe Atlas even got it before that. And they sent some of their new rockets, like the Hammer. They actually have, we have a mission. Russia has a mission. China has a mission. They all have a mission with a nuke on it. They have something called the Hammer, Hypervelocity Asteroid Mitigation and Emergency Response Vehicle. It's essentially a nuke on a rocket. What if they sent one up or something bigger than Jupiter, which Jupiter is gigantic. It's one of the biggest planets. So I just don't get how we didn't see this thing if it's been in our and they're not talking about it. Is it from outside of our solar system according to their science, right? Because Oumuamua, that was from out of our solar system. The other one, the second one, which nobody remembers, the other, flying turd they showed us, they didn't talk about it. What about this one? Where did this one come from? Is it from outside? Why is it slowing down or not getting as bright? It's just weird. It says,
well, Adam, if it's a change has recently happened to it, the last thing they told us about was it was passing Mars, right?
And isn't Mars crazy?
Didn't we last hear that it was passing through Mars on its way, not through Mars, but near Mars on its way to the sun? And so if it goes through near Mars and then all of a sudden something happens to it, I wonder what that something was.
Because Mars isn't super far. I mean, Mars is far, but they actually think that we could get to Mars because it's not that far.
Well, we have equipment there, right? We have orbiters there. We have rovers on the ground. Presumably we have other things that we've never been told about there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've had extraterrestrial soldiers listed. Not saying that they're UFOs. That there were soldiers listed in the government documents that were released during this big FBI, even in some of the Snowden stuff, I believe, of officers that were extraterrestrial or whatever the word for not on Earth was. And they were human beings. They were like Brad Smith, Brads and Derek's and stuff, but they were in space. And this was long ago.
Could we have had one of those hyper, what did you call it again? I can't remember the acronym, but the hyper asteroid mitigation.
A Hammer,
cool.
Hammer vehicle,
Hammer,
basically.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Could we have had a Hammer up there? And could we have actually broken this thing up because it was headed here, and that's why.
Well, look at when they started doing. And what if they, say hypothetically, say they weren't sure if it was going to work, and it actually just did, and now it's decreasing, and now they're saying, oh, everything's going to calm back down, and we're going to get. But I'm just saying hypothetically, just crazy thought here. Somebody said it's a hologram. I don't know. I'm not up in space, so I don't know. But what Dex is saying too, that's look at it. It was like 4 years ago or 5 years ago when they started talking about Russia putting a laser on the moon to get near Earth objects, or China talking about putting nukes on stuff. Us talking about the Hammer vehicles. All this stuff at once that was happening. All these plans kind of came together all at once. It was kind of funky. And they Hayabusa, Osiris Rex, all of these asteroid related things. Now, I think that so many are going to be going up there, and so many. I think that we're going to start to see things physically on the moon from the ground because we're able to see it. In fact, there was a freaky video that I shared on Twitter. I don't know if that was real or not. I made sure you guys knew, I don't know what the validity of this, but it has these things with perfect shadows flying over the crescent when the moon was a little crescent. Did you see that, Dex? It was a crescent, and then it looks like ships flying over the top, and you can see the shadows. Whether that was real or not, essentially, they say they just approved, T-Man approved for us to mine stuff off the moon and mine asteroids, right? Because if they mine the moon, there's apparently, very, very rare resources there. So what is really going on? They created Space Force. They did all this kind of stuff. It's just, it's a lot of weirdness coming from this thing. Some people are saying that it's, end of times, this and that. I think we should stay positive either way, even if it was. Jacob Israel is a good channel to watch if you guys have not checked him out. He does some absolutely great stuff, and he's always positive, and he's trying to put this in, even if it was, tomorrow, the end, he gets you to where you are happy about it, I guess. It's going to be a good time for some and a horrible time for others. Tonight's super pink moon linked to the end of days omen, a rebirth, and increased seismic activity. So that's another concern for at least myself and my families, because we're all in the Northwest. Northwest has the Cascadia subduction zone. We are home to a place that is going to have a 9.0. And just watch one of these crazy astronomical things trigger Cascadia subduction zone. It says a rare pink moon, which was tonight, will grace the skies over tonight as our rocky neighbor makes a close pass with Earth. It says some people think that the cosmic show is linked to the appearance of beautiful flowers in the U.S., while others say it signifies the end of the world as we know it. It says the moon's distance to Earth is greater at one end than the other because its orbit is off center. It says above the UK, the moon will rise in the east at 6:55 Tuesday, April 7th, and in the west at 6:56 a.m. on Wednesday. So I saw it tonight, and then I put the drone up to see if I could get a really cool shot of it. Even with my naked eye, it did not look too much bigger than it normally did. I didn't see the pink, but I was probably not in the right area. Dex, apparently, he had full cloud coverage, so he couldn't see it. But I just wonder, it says the moon turns pink-orange hue when it is low in the sky because of bluer wavelengths are filtered out by Earth's atmosphere. So maybe I didn't see it in time. It was up a little bit above the sky. Seriously? I know that that's probably a computer generated, right? Okay, yeah. Well, ha 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 ha. Look at. Elements of this image were furnished by you'll love this. Elements of this image were furnished by, guess what? By NASA. Furnished. I like that. They decorated it like a house. That's kind of funny. This one, now, Dex, do you want to explain this? Actually, this is the one that you added in here from the Smithsonian. A comet may have destroyed this Paleolithic village 12,800 years ago. What's the deal with this?
Well, Adam, I think it's just rather interesting because we're talking about, the fact that comets and asteroids are back in the news, and it seems like that, they have found, I believe it's in a country we can't say the name of on the show, but in that village, they had found evidence that possibly an impact had caused that village to actually, suffer. And so it's just really interesting because we talk about what these impacts are like. We've seen one recently in Africa that didn't seem like it was big enough to destroy a village, but it was a big impact, right? But there's obviously larger ones, and that we've tried to, we can see the craters on the Earth, but they're finding evidence of an actual village or an actual, civilization that was running that was actually demolished by an impact.
And we have several places around the world where we have these gigantic craters. It's not like I think that humans have a problem understanding that. I think that people think we're invincible, just like kind of a young person thinks that they're never going to die, right? That they're, they can drive 150 miles an hour on the freeway and there's no consequences, right? Because you just think that way. Well, I think humanity is the same. That we think that we'll never be hit with some huge disaster. Everyone thinks that it's never going to happen to them. And when it does, they go, I just can't believe it happened here. How many times have you heard that when, somebody's neighbor gets, 187'd and they go, I just can't believe it happened here in our quiet neighborhood. It always happens in the quiet neighborhoods. It always happens where you least expect it. And it's going to happen. It's Murphy's Law, just in general, anywhere. Everywhere you live, doesn't matter where you're on the earth, there's very few places that don't have some sort of massive natural disaster that can happen. And most likely will happen. It's just a matter of time. But we're all optimists in a way. We all think that it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen to us, at least. So that's just something to think about. If you guys are not in our Discord, this is very important right now. We might lose comms at some point. So while we do still have them, you guys need to organize and you need to get together. I even said, hey, we should get like flare guns and like pop them off in the event of anything going off and, have like a red thing. And yes, they can find, I'm saying like right after it happens, we pop them off and we find each other. That would be pretty crazy. All the Foogles find each other. Half kidding, half not. Find your local state group, and then there's also a creators corner. If you are somebody who is spreading your message right now, get in there. We want everybody to get in there, help each other, try to help each other figure out OBS, things like this. Help each other spread your message. You guys can, do networking, exclusive military channel. We have over 400 active and retired military folks in our Discord. We have over 14,000 members total, almost as many people as we do here over on DLive. And it's sign up for Marfoogle alerts there, which if anything if we get information and it's 100% guaranteed, we will send it out through Marfoogle alerts. All right. And then as far as what do you guys think about the pink moon? Do you think that it is a omen for something to come? Give us a call at 2244-00-MARF. All right, now to the other subject that obviously everybody is not only talking about, shut inside their house for. Truckers warn supply chain in jeopardy. Confusion reigns on shutdown. Whoa. Hold on, guys. Sorry about that. Now it says, as the number of C patients deaths in Johnson County increased to a total of 9 Monday. Truckers are sounding the alarm that the nation's supply chain could be in jeopardy if the government doesn't help protect them. Truckers say that every day they are hauling needed goods into CV hotspots with no protective equipment, testing capabilities, or ways to self-quarantine and seek treatment if they became sick. Now, I know firsthand, somebody in our family is now on furlough or basically on vacation. This person has never taken a day off in their entire life. Through sickness, through everything, continued driving, part of the food chain, literally delivers to the hospitals, delivers to the nursing homes. They were basically, I told you about this person, they were on the CV route. They were going to Evergreen. They were going to this place. They were going to that place. All the places where we had all of the news coming to, right? And he was telling us like how it kind of works. They were getting temperature checked everywhere he went. They were getting checked. They would drop off the pallets. In most cases, they would try to come out and grab it. But there were some places where he actually had to go in, do everything, and they didn't provide for masks. They didn't provide anything, gloves, nothing. So his wife, our other family member, she was providing him with gloves, mask, everything else. And he was like, well, they don't want, he didn't take it seriously and wasn't wearing a mask and all this. But he said that all of his coworkers were dropping out. And this was way before it was required. This was way before they found out it was worth. Everybody was using this to like just say, hey, I'm out of here. I'm taking my time off. I'm doing this. Nobody wanted to work, especially in a position or a union or in a spot where you actually can take time off, paid time off. That hit really hard when all these guys were all like, I'm taking mine. I'm taking mine. I'm taking mine. And it was based on seniority. Finally, he did it because he's essentially he's the only person, he's already worked way, 3-4 years past retirement. So he said, okay, I'll finally take some time off. But it was because he wasn't protected. They weren't helping him. And by the way, no matter what you think about this, there is stuff going on out there. So, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad that that everything is happening at the same time. What is up, Bones? Thank you for coming tonight. I just wanted to stop in through chat. Mother Firefly, what is going on? Says I got a couple pictures of it tonight. It has a slight pink to it, tint to it. Yabba Dabba Sexy says ain't no way in hell I'm not getting anyone to swab my NUTs. We've got Tuck Pup saying, took a video on April 5th, only Venus and the moon in the sky after sunset. Had to ask the fam, super bright. That's another thing. For a while, you won't even see the North Star. You'll just see Venus and then the sunset. It is so incredibly bright. Thank you, Tuck Pup. I appreciate that. Earthwoman, thank you for being here. And Ronald D. Donald, thank you for gifting a subscription. I appreciate that. Shastina, it looks like you're the first one to have a 3-month sub streak. I've not seen the orange text yet. Says, first full moon in 2020 had company up there on my YT channel if you want to see crazy times. That was Shastina. Shastina, thanks for having a 3-month sub streak. Looks like you're the only orange text here. That's crazy. Of course, if you get the Marfia badge 3 months in a row, you get the orange text. I haven't seen that yet. That's awesome, Shastina. Chance Paladin, I love beagles. What is going on? Number 2 Pencil, Soft Nose, Chantilly Lace, Barefoot Lass, Paul Revere, Foogle Fam, Hempen Ain't Easy. Zero Turn Zed. The grocery supply chain is choking the retailer's supply. The demand hasn't fallen off. Exactly. The thing is they are literally clearing the shelves as fast as they can fill them. So you're needing more drivers, more everything, yet there's less drivers to drive. So I this is one that I believe 100%. The Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association sent a letter Friday to President DT saying, help, Mayday. Look at that. Isn't that weird they put that? Huh. Mayday. What is this, by the way? Isn't that kind of... And then we've got May coming up. Mayday. Just noticed that. Just thought that was kind of interesting. If you guys know what I mean. I guess, you know. Isn't it funny how most of us see things in kind of a different light? Just a little bit differently. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Toe Dab Nasty. Send awesome pics. Please share. Well, we'll look at them and we can most likely not. If we can't show them today, we can show them tomorrow. Hot-Wired Barb, thank you for the lemons. Rosie Bear, B Crouch, thank you for sticking around and being here. Jojo New, what's up, Mama Sherry? Lyric C, Barrett, Gopher Mold, BJ Blake, Mrs. Stininger, thank you for the ice creams. Grace for you too, thank you for the diamonds. Awe Enterprise, thank you for resubbing. Have a 2-month streak. Renegade Petey, keep up the good work. Marf. And then just to pop in, Amy, a.k.a. Mini70. Thank you for being a top contributor tonight as well. Herman the Great, thank you for being number 2 so far. Go Hawks. Thank you for being on there. Audrey's Visual Arts and Lizzie Lou Who. Thank you all. It looks like you all got missed there. So sorry. I apologize about that. Okay, so to go into the next one here, check this out. It says, adjusted CV model predicts fewer people in the U.S. will need hospitals, but 82,000 will still fall by the wayside permanently by August. Huh. It says, an influential model tracking the CV in the United States now predicts that fewer people will end up perishing and fewer hospital beds will be needed compared to its estimates from last week. As of Monday, the model predicted the virus will kill 81,000 people in the United States over the next 4 months, with just under 141,000 hospital beds being needed. That's about 12,000 fewer deaths and 121,000 fewer hospital beds than the model estimated on Thursday. One thing I have to say, though, and by the way, a lot of this stuff is coming out of local here. I am trying to get interviews with some of these people. These are people in my backyard, my neck of the woods, and it's really hard for even the press to do stuff, even if you have media credentials. It's incredibly frustrating right now, even like our normal calls, our normal emails, everything else. It's like everything is closed down. You can't get a hold of anybody. If there is anybody, it's a gatekeeper and they don't let you through. It's really incredible right now. So they say, but these are models. I don't get why we're focused on all these computer models. We need like actual facts. And even a lot of those are now not kind of coming out fully because, I mean, think about it. We're hiding the military numbers while saying that these are better and this and this. It's weird. A lot of pain. New York has biggest one-day jump in virus perished. So we saw this a couple days ago, too. It says New York State recorded 731 new CV on Tuesday, marking the biggest one-day jump in the outbreak, according to Governor Andrew Cuomo. The state's death toll since the beginning of the outbreak is now 5,489. It says the alarming death number comes even as new hospital admissions have dropped compared to last week. Cuomo said that the latest death tally reflects critically ill people hospitalized before this week, calling it a lagging indicator. What's really weird to me, though, is how the MSM has kind of backed off a little bit. Have you noticed that, Dex? That we kicked off this thing with the cartel, we kicked off the military. Everybody is still now locked down. Doesn't it seem like it's almost pulling back? Like making people think it's better?
It certainly does. And the one thing I just see so much is the politics side. They won't let up on that. I think that's like the only thing they've got left now. But certainly this is not the best news. It's also the news we were told, hey, you should expect that going into this week, it's going to be rough, right? And when you look at the way the CV attacks, especially somebody that's going to be intubated and potentially, perish, it does take a period of time. Like it's like a 2-week or a 1-week process for them to get through those stages. So all of these hospitalizations that happened like a week ago or 4 days ago, those are the ones that you're seeing now. But the good news, I guess the silver lining here, is that the number of new hospitalizations is going down. So therefore we should see, as they were saying, that light at the end of the tunnel, right?
No, and I completely agree with you. I just wanted to make sure I'm... if you guys could let me know, on my end, I have a little... If you guys could let me know if you guys could hear that. Just real quick, and then I'll pop over to chat. Are you guys having vivid pandemic dreams and nightmares keeping you awake? Essentially, they are saying that more people are actually up at night, and I believe this 100%. I know so many people, including my daughter and all of her friends, have been up all night every night. We've been trying to get her to sleep. She can't sleep, and she is never talked about. We don't talk about any of the negative stuff around her or my other kids. We try to keep our kids, at least, they know what's going on, but at the same time, I don't, talk about the scary stuff around it. We don't talk about the numbers. We don't talk about how, we try to keep it as positive as possible around the kids. But everybody knows that she's 14. Like, her and her friends are all, if you have a 14-year-old or had one at any point, they basically think that they know everything. They think they're adults now at 14, which is just, we all did. And with her, all of her friends, I'm like, aren't their parents like, why are they up at 4 a.m? Why are they up at 5? It's because everybody is up. Everybody's up at night. I've noticed more people on at night than in the day almost, because nobody's working. Everybody's sleep schedule is messed up. Everybody can't sleep. Everybody's stressed out. Nobody has a paycheck coming. Everybody's stressing out about the next check coming in. It's just, this is nuts. And if this ended up being like this over something else, that's why I just don't, it's just weird. Just have to say that. Somebody says exaggerated. We'll talk about a lot of stuff tomorrow night, man. We will talk about a lot of stuff tomorrow night. If you guys want to support us in a different way, we have told you, we've shown you guys why we started working with EMP Shield. EMP Shield was mentioned by name in the EMP Resilience Report. Of course, that was the actual report that said from DHS that we should all have 6 months to a year of food in case of a grid down scenario. That was actually given to the president, and the president immediately signed a new order essentially saying that we have to harden our grid because our grid was so badly vulnerable. This is still something they are saying. In fact, in the next 2 months, we're going to see even more news that will make this make a whole lot more sense. So you guys will see a lot coming in this way. I'm hoping it never happens, but if it does, this will end up saving lives. Even if you do not go through us. If you go through us, 1, it helps the channel. 2, you get a discount per device, which these you can hook up to your generator, you can hook up to your house, you can hook up to your car. Obviously, you can't put your car in a Faraday cage, but you can hook up an EMP shield. It grounds a signal before it fries your device. You can actually put it on a solar system. There's a device for everything. Again, you can go to marfooglenews.com/EMP to get it through us. But if you do not get it through us, even if you hate me, if you're one of the 90 trolls thumbs down every show, go around me. Go to a website around it. Google. Do not put my name in. Go get it. Pretend you still hate me and then do that, okay? As far as a grid down scenario, it is a very big possibility. They've talked about it a million times. It's just a no-brainer. Again, go around me if you don't want to do it through us. marfooglenews.com/EMP. And then, we have to work out the contest, too. We're going to call out the names. Dex, have we got that? Have we gotten the names yet? I'm sure you'll come back to it. Again, you can go and there's tons of different devices you can actually cover with that. So,
hey, Adam, we don't have the names yet, and I don't know if he's actually closed the contest. So you might be able to sneak in if you're still trying to win. But we're going to be announcing the names real soon.
It was supposed to end on the 1st. They might have extended it. I don't know. But there's multiple ways in there. You can actually, I'll just show it again since if that is the case. You can try. If it's not, just try to go to marfooglenews.com/contest.
Yeah, it says 3 days on it. I just looked, but that's what it said the other day. So if you're still out there and you want to win, just try and sneak in if you can. But I'll find out from Andrew, and we'll get the winners announced.
All right, perfect. Again, they work with the DoD, DHS, and that's how they're protecting themselves. So it's how I think about it is whatever they're doing, we should be doing on our own. Don't depend on somebody else to protect yourself. Acting Navy Secretary Maude Lee hasn't been fired yet. Acting Secretary of the Navy Thomas Maude Lee traveled nearly 8,000 miles to Guam to berate thousands of sailors on Monday and later said he stood by every word before apologizing for the remarks within a span of about 8 hours. Maude Lee has not yet resigned or been fired, but will update this post if that changes. I don't think he'll be fired because he yelled at him. I see both sides of it. We've got friends and family in military. I see both sides of it. I know why they got yelled at. I know why they, the whole thing. It says Maude Lee, who came into the job after his predecessor was forced out for going against President T during the Eddie Gallagher affair, is facing increasing pressure to resign over his handling of the situation of the USS Theodore Roosevelt, an aircraft carrier which quickly went from having 3 CV cases to hundreds, among of a crew nearly 5,000 sailors. Now, he went in and he yelled at him, all this stuff. The old guy, Captain Brett Crozier, is now being called a hero. He called for help, right? Was this the same one? Meanwhile, Maude Lee also wrote a response to an op-ed published in the New York Times to Tweed Roosevelt, great-grandson to Theodore Roosevelt, in which he called Captain Brett Crozier a hero. The response by Maude Lee was published and later deleted from the Navy's live blog, though it appears on the New York Times website. Wow. Because they say the ship was in a lot of bad, it was really kind of scary on the ship. That's what they said. Yeah. I mean, times have changed, have they not? New Zealand isn't just flattening the curve, it's squashing it. So I like seeing these kind of stories. It says that Havelock, North New Zealand, says that it has been less than 2 weeks since New Zealand imposed a CV lockdown so strict that swimming at the beach and hunting in bushland were banned. They're not essential activities. Plus, we have been told, or not been told, not to do anything that could divert emergency services resources. So essentially, if you accidentally, cap your friend, or if you drown, that would use emergency services, right? So if you don't do those things, you won't drown and you won't accidentally cap your friend, like previous vice presidents. Says people have been walking and biking strictly in their neighborhoods, lining up 6 feet apart outside of grocery stores, waiting to go one in, one out. Wow. And joining swaths of the world in discovering the vagaries of homeschooling. Says it only took 10 days for signs that the approach here, quote, elimination rather than containment, goal of the United States and other Western countries is working. Says the number of new cases has fallen for 2 consecutive days, despite a huge increase in testing, with 54 confirmed or probable cases reported Tuesday. That means the number of people who have recovered, 65, exceeds the numbers of daily infections. if they didn't take any of our civil liberties, didn't track us, didn't do anything, I think it would have been great if they just originally said, hey, one person in the store at a time, one in, one out, did the same thing they're doing there. Don't go this, don't go that, but still have the full ability of traveling, everything else. I do agree that we should have, but again, that would be saying that it's about that. I don't know how they got so many countries on the same page on this. I mean, it's really quite wild. China spokesman defends virus tweets criticized by T-Man. It says an official in China's foreign ministry defended his tweets questioning whether American soldiers introduced the CV to Wuhan in his first comments on the controversy over responsibility for the pandemic. It says foreign ministry spokesman Zhao Lilian told a briefing Tuesday in Beijing that his social media posts were, quote, a reaction to some U.S. politicians stigmatizing China a while ago. In response to a question about whether the tweets represented the government's official stance, Zhao said, this also reflects the anger of many Chinese people about this stigma. So, as far as if you want to read the rest of this, it actually goes into detail. We'll talk about some of the stuff that we have found tomorrow on the D-Live Only show. It's going to be quite wild. Now, I do want to shout out real quick. Henry Brown, thank you, says, I just won the contest. Okay, so we do have contest winners, do we not? So Henry Brown actually just super chatted and says, I won the contest. Thanks, man. Alex Gallegos, July 4th is not Independence Day. It was the 2nd of July. 4th of July is celebration for the stars, Sirius, as the ancient Egyptians did. Death and rebirth. Must be talking about the pink moon and the whole signs they were talking about. Trying to call in, got some news from Michigan, says Conquest Josh. I wish you good luck on that. Paul Delorme, thank you for following. Saladino Saldano, thank you for following as well. Vinicio Petaccio, V-Rocks Pit, what is going on, man? What's up, Adam Mods and Marfia, Foogle fam worldwide. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that, Vinecki. Sherry the Goddess 2010, thank you for following. Susan Donahue, thank you for the super chat. Adam Dex and Foogle fam, I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. We can get through whatever may bring together. Hashtag Team Humanity. I agree, Susan, and you are permanently a part of our ending, no matter if you're here or not. So thank you. I appreciate you so much. Jonathan Garbote, thank you for following. Ted Turner, wow, you are on point, sir. Thank you, Ted Turner, and I'm sorry it took me 40 minutes to get back to that. I didn't see that there. Linda G, thanks for the great work. Thank you. Herd Bull, repent and stay prayed up. Jesus loves you. Herd Bull, I haven't seen you in a minute. Thank you for coming in and thank you for saying stuff. You guys, I really hope that everybody is thinking the same way. Michelle Tate, thank you for all you do, Adam. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here and thank you for sharing. I really do mean it when I say the people that share, that bring new people in, that bring their friends and family in. That's what really makes a difference. Because right now, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Everybody's getting knocked off just like crazy. So I hope you guys fight for your right to like what you like when it happens here. Jay Roche in Australia, I believe. Greetings from, Maruba Beach down under. Thank you so much, Jay. MG Toe Forever. You're all awesome. Thank you. Barbara Kelly, thank you for following. Kaylee Imond, Brad Cernk, Melanie Pellegrin, Dustin Armstrong, Jeff B., Angelique, German Faulkner, Levlink Kevin, Daniel Teschke, Mary Qualtro, Kelly Josie. Thank you guys for all subscribing. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Foogle fam. Pilot takes amazing images of Area 51 and Tonopah Air Base while skirting restricted airspace. It says a private pilot had one heck of an adventure through a Nevada test and training range, getting very rare looks at the shadowy installations. Check this out. So, Dex, was he not afraid of getting shut down? Like, can they even do this? Or,
well, my understanding is he took the right paths that were correct, that he was legal. He wasn't illegal. I could be wrong, but I'm
so
pretty
why do
sure
more
that
people
that was
not
what
do
he
it
did.
then? Huh.
I don't know. Maybe he has a really good camera too.
Look at that. What is that? There's like a weird looking jet right there. It doesn't even look like... Huh. That's weird. It says they are America's most secretive air bases, Area 51 and Tonopah Test Range Airport, located deep in the massive Nevada Test and Training Range that covers a large portion of southern Nevada. Although there are distant vantage points on the ground that allow views into these highly secure installations, aerial images of them taken close enough to make out any details are rare to non-existent. Regardless, some may be surprised to hear that private planes do legally fly along the borders and even into some of the ranges that make up the NTTR, offering a one-of-a-kind aerial tour of a land that the government would like you to forget. One such aerial adventure was recently flown by private pilot Gabriel Zeifman in his little Cessna 150. He brought his camera along with him, and the results are stunning. Flying very near and even across some of the restricted areas within the NTTR is not unheard of. It's as if the timing is right and the ranges are not in use, referred to as being cold. Air traffic control can allow routing through the area. It says a handful of small civilian airports ring the NTTR, and the planes can't fly into them without at least passing very near the restricted operating areas that host everything from massive aerial warfare exercises like Red FLAG to various test and tactics development sorties. It's also worth noting that the Russians are allowed to get even closer than any civilian pilot can. Remember when they allowed them to do the flyovers and get to look over the top secret stuff? So do you think that there's much that they could actually see from the sky anyways? Because now they have satellite photos. Our enemies have satellite photos. I don't think there would be much visible from the sky. That's just my opinion.
No, anything we have is underground, right? Or it's flown at night.
I just wonder if there's anything that, like the entrances, where the entrances are, if there's something that you could do from the sky. So I was going to see. Look at that. It's kind of funky. With Groom Lake in the distance. What a spooky area, too. If you've ever been there, it is quite crazy. Look at that tiny little plane. Okay. Kind of a cool picture, I guess. Some steampunk stuff. So it looks like, I don't know. Obviously, it's clear, but look at that.
If he got anything he shouldn't have, he wouldn't be here to report about it.
Right here, it looks like there's some weird shaped jet. Yeah, no, this website wouldn't exist. Or this article would have been taken down before it got put up. What are those? Are those tents or are those all hangars? Just looks like some of these ones have vents. I guess they're hangars. I wonder what's in those hangars. What are these domes? And there's air traffic control. Got a bunch of kind of odd looking dome structures. I mean, it looks pretty boring to me. But right here, see these entrances? I wonder if there's any... look at this. Another dome. Another dome. What's... are those observatories or something? I guess I don't know. It's just so weird that they've done so much crazy stuff out here, and it is completely off limits. If you've ever seen the videos of anyone trying to get close, they will come out and they will just straight up threaten your life. Like, no joke. They'll say, you leave or you are not leaving at all, and you're going home in something else. So it is pretty interesting to see this up close. You just never see it. And then it looks like maybe that's parking. What the heck are those? To me, it reminds me of like PUBG or what do you call it? Warzone on Xbox. It's a cool thought, though, that actually brings us. What is that thing? Bald Mountain Radar Station keeps a watchful eye over the large swath of NTTR, providing key fighter control information. It's just weird that this is right here, and then you look over here, it's desert and snow because of the altitude. Such a weird area. If you guys want to look at the pictures and inspect them yourself, you can go to marfooglenews.com. Okay, so is anybody happy about this? Now, I know that there's a certain crowd that are screaming and yelling and saying, yeah, this is exactly what it's about. It says that checkpoints aid in combating the trafficking. So, and this kind specifically. It says one response to the CV pandemic has been increase checkpoints to screen passengers in vehicles and at airports. These checkpoints often involve informing travelers of self-quarantine requirements when entering a new state and screenings for the CV by public health officials. They also offer an opportunity to educate the public in reducing the spread. It says Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis recently announced that 3,400 travelers from New York were screened and that more checkpoints have been added throughout the state. Checkpoints that have been established along I-10 corridor and other Florida highways. It says new checkpoint has been set up at the Florida-Georgia border along I-95 to screen travelers entering Florida. This is an extension of the screenings conducted by the Florida National Guard and public health officials. Dang, man, Dex, I know you go to Florida a lot. It'd be awesome if you drove down.
Not anymore.
Well, I know, but man, if you got some GoPro footage or something of being screened and how they have it, it just sounds crazy. Go down there.
I know we have some people that are down there, and that part of it. I'm in northern Georgia, and that's in southern. It's pretty far, but yeah, there's. I don't know what's still going on. I know they had it on the I-10 coming in from the Panhandle to help prevent people from Louisiana getting into the state, or not prevent them getting in the state, but at least getting them screened on the way in, so they knew what to do with them. And then obviously 95, which is on the East Coast, it runs along the ocean side there. Coming from the north.
Yeah, so what I want to know is, are a lot of people are spreading this whole thing that, they'll pop you if you go past. I know they'll chase you and I know they'll stop you, but I don't think they'll pop you. I guess nobody knows because nobody's tried it yet. Or at least that. Well,
the pictures I've seen, it's like just miles of backed up traffic and hours of waiting.
So there's no way to get through anyways, unless you went over the dirt or something.
Right.
So there's a certain group online that is actually happy about this because they believe that this is all part of the plan. It says trafficking is a huge worldwide industry. According to the Polaris Project, which studies trafficking, it is estimated that the total number of victims in the United States is in the hundreds of thousands. Now, we've talked about this before. It's actually probably over that. They don't know about half of it. The International Labor Organization says trafficking is a $150 billion industry worldwide. One thing I think about is what if you're one of the victims of this and you just get snatched up? Like, that really happens. That's not out of a Liam Neeson movie. That's real deal Holyfield, and it happens, especially near the border. So and that's another reason why I'm like, there's folks that are against the wall because it's his thing, right? Because it's T-Man's thing. I don't get why they don't separate the hate for him with the kind of thing that happens there. Like, if you know anything about the behind the scenes of it, that's how they're grabbing people, a lot of people. That's part of it. Tuck Pup, friends, family, don't think I'm crazy anymore. Much love to Marf, Dex, Mods, and fam. Keep it real. Thank you, Tuck Pop, and thank you for the Ninja Guinea. That's super appreciated. And I guess, now preppers are cool. Now we're not the nuts ones. We're the ones who, have everything, including toilet paper. J-Star Oregon, thank you. Marf, Dex, Mods, and fam, love you all. Blue Knight 602, congratulations, Henry Brown. Green Bay Wacky, thank you. I don't know if you're still here. Green Bay Wacky has been covering a lot of this, and he has been saying a lot of stuff. But we'll talk about tomorrow about cashless, all of that kind of stuff. Comet Atlas isn't the NEO we should focus on. Check this out. The Skylive where is 2016 HP6. We will end up trying to grab that. Dex, Blue Knight 602, I don't know if you can grab that. The Skylive, can you look up 2016 HP6? 2016 HP6. And then we've got Green Bay Wacky again. Running with Scissors, thank you. Amy R, a.k.a. Mini70. Thank you for gifting a subscription to TGS Source. Thank you for grabbing that. Don't Hate the Nate, Poco Loco, Luna Soul, Majemi, thank you for the diamond. Trigger, Tiger Lily, Susan Big, Gem, Lake Swim, thank you guys for the ice creams. Even when you guys do one lemon, that's super appreciated. You guys don't know. Shelly 66930, Toe Dab Nasty, Michelle stepping out in droves.
It's in the screener if you want it.
Okay, so I'm going to pull it up. Yeah, he says it's a worse threat than Atlas. Again, Gem, thank you for the Ninja Guinea. You don't have to do that. Thank you so much. We're all turning into bitch-ass Barbaras. TJM33. That is absolutely correct. If you don't know what we mean, you'll have to watch the last show, I guess. Green Bay Wacky, yep, love your show. Hey, Green Bay, thank you for sticking around. Lady GT476, thank you. If you guys haven't checked out Green Bay Wacky, please go do. He's a creator on both platforms. Reed Storm, Paul's Haggy, Lady GT476, April Osborne, much love. Adam, thank you, April. You know you don't have to do that. Mr. Brightside 11111, Dom 808. Facebook feeds are saying it's now Peppers to shine. Yeah, it's crazy. Now we're the ones. Jen B. Cox, thank you so much. Happy to be alive. It's just been nuts lately. Henry Brown says, question on that's on Q. I feel like it's a government-controlled opposition. And what about allergies to Vs? I'm not a fan of mandatory V. I'll talk about all that tomorrow, Henry Brown, and we'll talk about that. Those are the people that are getting knocked off left and right. I just won. Again, thank you for that. And then Occam's Razor, thank you for the Ninja Guinea. All right, now to get to this. Now, have you guys, they say temporary shortage of Tylenol. I don't think it's temporary. Only because they were making a ton of it out. This is why we shouldn't have made so much damn medicine outside the country. This is why people think that it's going to be much more serious than this. Because now everybody is talking about it. Everybody is saying that we are going to stop doing all of this crazy stuff in China, instead do it here. That's why there's a lot of people saying this is actually kind of the beginning of a conflict with China and Russia. China, if we're not dependent on them, if we do truly bring back a ton of the manufacturing here, stop. I mean, can anybody believe that we were making 90% of our antibiotics, something that is a staple to literally our health now, literally to why we have extended in age, why we live longer, how we survive small things that now, because of technology we can. 90% of it was made in China. How in the world did we let it get to that point? How did we let it get over 50? How did we let it get over 10%? Let alone 90% of our antibiotics were made in China. All of the other things made in China. If you look around your house, even big brands, they will have made in China on the bottom. So if we stop doing that, what will that cause? I don't even know why they report this. I guess if you report this though too, everybody's going to go out and buy more. But I will say this: it doesn't hurt because it's been like this for a month. Once people said that ibuprofen does not harm you, ibuprofen makes it worse, but Tylenol doesn't. Everybody cleaned out the Tylenol, and you can get ibuprofen. It's literally every ibuprofen, stack on the shelves, all full. Tylenol has been out for a month here, at least here. It says it's becoming a rare sight on some pharmacy shelves. Tylenol, the drug, is selling out or is being rationed in many stores because of a belief that it might be the best way to fight the CV. It says it is safer to give Tylenol or acetaminophen. I hate this one. Acetiva. A set of tires on acetaminophen. Are you phoning in? Acetaminophen for fever, he said. Try to stay away from the non-steroidal. Non-steroidals are good for arthritis, headaches, migraines sometimes, but prolonged use of it definitely has adverse outcomes for the heart, the kidney, and now recent evidence shows possible immune system. So I guess you can never really win. All right, and then let's see here. On the other hand, if you guys are missing notifications, you need to go to marfooglenews.com. You can actually get the push notifications there if you would like. On the other hand, if you guys want to support us in a different way, all of you are on your computers nonstop, on your phones nonstop right now. More than ever, there are more people, especially the people that have any kind of knowledge on how to use a computer, and there's a lot of them in this generation. They are now turning without a paycheck to scam you online. So if you have not protected yourself, again, go to NordVPN. There's special savings with the code Marfoogle. You can get over 70% off on their best plan. But not only that, it helps your favorite channel. It helps us a lot if you guys go through it. If you don't, I would be considering protecting yourself anyways. Nord is one of the best. It's one of the most advanced. And once you do one account, it actually covers 6 different devices. So your laptop, your phone, your kid's laptop, your kid's tablet, your kid's this, your kid's that. It basically hides you. Not only that, this will be an essential tool. If there is any kind of blocking of stuff, you can put yourself in a different country like New Zealand and then get information out. So on top of protecting yourself against the crazy number of scams that are happening right now, and it doesn't mean you don't have to click on a link nowadays. There's stuff that's happening right now that we've covered. They can just pop in if they know your IP. It hides your IP from the bad guys. Again, even through this, they have 24/7 customer support. So they're actually paying their people and having them work from home through this. I thought that was cool. All right, go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. We're going to get our calls open. Lady GT476 says, thank you, Dex and Marf. And then Dom808, thanks. I've got to read that. Acetated Tamifluofamin hamburgers. I read it. Dom 808. Mahalo. Blue Knight 602. Comet Atlas is going between the sun and Mercury. Asteroid 2016 6 HPX is projected to skim by us 5.5 through 5.7. Okay, so I've got this one that he says that we should be worried about right here. So I'm going to show you the skylive.com 2016 HP6. So let's check this bad boy out and see what he is talking about. Okay, let's go here. Bam, bam. So this is what Blue Knight 602 is talking about. It is a near-Earth object, 2016 HP6. And it says download something. Let's see here. Boom, boom.
And Adam, if it lets you scroll down, there's like a three-dimensional orbital view.
Really? Let's see. Oh, wow. That's cool. Okay, so where are we at? So let's see. Okay, so, oh, wow. Look at that. So this shows us where it is now. And then look at that. So right here, it's going to be literally right next to us. Oh, look at that. It's actually it's moving here. It's a little slow, isn't it? Look at that. So you can kind of see it as it's coming. So this is the blue dot here is the Earth. This is 2016 HP6, which I've never even heard about. Of course I haven't heard about it. It's going to be right here. And wow, that's... I guess it looks close, but is it really that close? That is... I just don't... I don't know. I've always had dreams about the whole asteroid hitting, so that's why I think... I don't know. Those freak me out. 420 Harley, thank you for saying hi. Thank you for showing support. I appreciate that, especially from another creator. You don't have to do that. You know that. If I show love to the streamers that I think are funny and enjoy watching, so that's why I support you. You don't have to return the favor, but thank you so much. Appreciate that. And Pox Party, appreciate that as well. Okay, so we're going to get the phones open right now. If you guys haven't followed me over on Twitter, you guys need to do so. I post a lot of stuff there, a lot more than I used to. Now, multiple times a day, I'm over on Twitter, so make sure to go check that out. All right.
And Adam, that webpage you were just on is pretty resource intensive on my computer, so you might want to kill it if you didn't already.
It says that it's buffering, isn't it? Boom, boom. All right, so we got that done. Boom, boom. Again, nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on my crew. So make sure you always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. Salt. I just like using the echo. All right, let's see here. We've got this, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. What happened to Fat Boy Slim? Let's see. All right, first up, we've got Greg. Greg, you are live on Marfoogle News. What is going on?
Hey, what's up, Marf? How you doing, man?
Good. So, what
Can
do
you
we
hear
got?
me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear
All right,
us?
cool. Oh, yeah, I can hear you. I'm out in my car right now. Family's in there sleeping, so just, trying to keep things quiet.
No problem. Thanks for calling in. So,
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Go ahead.
What, I was calling in because I was watching your show just a few minutes ago, and you had mentioned that star, which I guess is Venus in the sky. I've been noticing would be about the last month has been significantly brighter. Like it, I always keep my eye up to the sky, especially at nighttime. And just in the last month, because I work third shift as a forklift operator, and I've really noticed that. It just caught my eye one day, and I'm like, man, that really looks different. Like it looks a lot brighter. And then one night, probably about 2 weeks ago, I seen that star or Venus, whichever one it is, and it was pulsating over about a 5-minute, wave. Like every other about 5 or 6 minutes, it was pulsating. So that kind of caught me off guard. And then, I had been paying attention to it ever since. And then when I was watching your show a couple nights ago, you had mentioned it. And then tonight you had mentioned it again. And it may very well be Venus, but it's just weird with everything going on, the CV whole thing going on. That's just, just running rampant through the whole world within weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like it seems to one that I can see why people say this is the end of the world, because you've got literally everything, including locusts and even flies dying off in some cases. You've got literally the 10 plagues.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, it's right there. I mean, I don't know how people, I know a lot of people are seeing it, but there is lots and lots, probably millions of people that don't see it. I mean, and I honestly forgot about the locusts and the other stuff. It was like a major earthquake here, major earthquake there, months and months apart. I mean, it's every day, 4 or 5 times a day sometimes. It all really started, back in the early 2000s, but just in the last, I would say, 5 or 6 years, things has really, really ramped it up. And now in the last few months, this whole world has flipped upside down. I mean, I just don't know how other people aren't, there is people out there seeing it, but there's a lot of people that don't see it. And it is just right there. I mean, step by step by step by step, what's going on. And now, this comet, in Revelations, I'm sure you're about
Wormwood.
It says a lot. It says a lot of a lot of that stuff in Revelations, and like signs and great signs in the skies, great signs, and birth pains, with the earth, and pestilence and diseases. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was spread out over a few years, but this is all just in like crunch time, just in the last few months, has really just heated up, and it's just blowing my mind. Like, I'm terrified to go to work. I have to go to work. I work at a place that packages military packaging, medicine, pharmaceuticals. I'm a forklift operator there, so we're staying busy, but everybody at work is completely masked up. Face masked up, gloves. I mean, the whole get go, and and I'm so afraid to bring stuff home. From the CV. I got a little daughter, Maya, and then I got my fiance, Bethany, she works in the fast food industry, and plus we only live in a 1-bedroom apartment, so we're in close quarters, and it's real bad around here. I'm in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, to be specific. And matter of fact, I just live just about 2 miles from a real big Air Force base, and the sky traffic has been ramped up too. It's just like, it's just blowing my mind. It's just crazy, man.
Well, so I also wanted to show you, and I don't know if you can see the screen at the same time, but so yesterday, the sunset, we literally like drove around to find a good spot to see it. We were on a trip from family, and essentially we're borrowing like lawn stuff because we've been doing stuff at home. Right. So yesterday, I don't know if anybody else saw this or noticed this, but there was a spotlight off of the sun, and I'm going to show you guys. This is This is us. Look at this.
Can you even see it in the picture?
Yeah, look at that. It's like a spotlight.
Wow.
It was so
Things
weird.
it's just
Inhuman.
Look at that.
It was weird.
Things are so
Spotlight on
different.
the freaking sun.
I mean, that's crazy, and it's just like, I mean, and on top of that, it's like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I've noticed that, you know, people are, you know, and it's to be expected, obviously, but people are real agitated. There's a lot of things, you know,
Mad.
people are super agitated with each other. I've noticed it on the roads and the grocery stores. Matter of fact, Marf, as I'm sitting here in my car, you know, because I'm outside of my apartment in my car, you know, trying not to wake the kid and my fiance. There's a guy next to me in his apartment. He's kind of standing out in his parking lot, and he is swinging a stick, like pointing from north, south, east to west, and he's doing chants and looks like Gandalf, like he's slamming the stick on the ground. It's kind of got me spooked a little bit, but I'm just saying, you know, crazy things are happening. You know, people are going crazy, and it's like, it's just, I don't know, man. The world is upside down, and if you don't see it, you must be blind, because I mean, this whole, it's bad. You know,
people think it's
right
completely
now.
normal, and that this was made up to put somebody in or out of the presidency. I think this is way bigger than that. This is gigantic.
Way
this
bigger.
is
No.
this is global.
This is out of the ballpark. Yes. You know, and I hear a lot of people, you know, well, it's like the flu, you know, it's they're comparing it to the flu. But if I'm not mistaken, I think, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think the flu, you know, takes, you know, a couple months to get around the world, you know, like, you know, 5 or 6 months to get around the world. This, you know, the CV exploded around the world in about 3 weeks once it was hit the media, you know, and it's just snowballed. And I mean, all the signs are there, and I just, with the earthquakes and the signs in the sky and the sun, especially, the sun's doing a lot of things. The moon, especially, you know, talking about tonight. Matter of fact, I'm looking at it right now. There is a pink haze around it, around the corona. Like it's right there.
Oh, you
and
just
then,
said
you know,
it.
which is,
The whole
the
show.
people are just, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, there's people holding it together, but there's a lot of people that's kind of on edge, and which is to be understandable. But, you know, like I'm at work and I'm trying to, you know, I'm holding it together, but it's right there, not even the back of my mind, Marf. It's right there in the front of my mind. You know, am I bringing something home to my, you know, my daughter and my fiance? You know, I take off. I'm literally practically stripping down at my front door, hitting the shower directly every single night that I come in the morning. You know, I have to do that just, you know, because we're in such close quarters, you know, and, you know, the things are right there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this really wasn't the beginning of the end. I mean, it feels like it. It feels different. You know what I'm saying? It's in the air. Like, people can sense something's different about this situation. You know what I mean?
It's in our guts. It's essentially, everybody knows that this is literally different than anything we have ever seen before. I get you, Greg.
Ever. Absolutely. You absolutely said it right when you said it. You know, it's like in your gut. I mean, it's right there. You can actually sense it in your body. Like, you know, like you're waiting for the next, like, can it get worse? Like, you're waiting for that anticipation. Like, what, you know, what's about to happen next? I mean, it's one thing after another, and it's not, you know, weeks or months. It's day by day by day, Marf. And it's just, you know, I would be really surprised. I just had this feeling, and I'm not trying to, you know, like, you know, fearmonger or, you know, fear porn, nothing like that. But I just really have this feeling that it is, you know, the beginning of the end. You know, I'm not a huge, super religious person, but I do believe in Jesus Christ, and I read the Bible, and I have, you know, and I'm big into that history. You know, I'm a history buff when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, and it is just word for word jumping off the pages of Revelation. And I just don't know. I hope people see it. I don't know how people don't see it, but you know, it's right there, man. It is really right there.
Well, Greg, I completely agree with you, and I thank you for calling into the show. I also want to thank you for you know, being patient on hold as well. We're going to get to the next caller here. I did want to make sure to have you finish your statement there. Do you guys agree with him? If you guys want to call in, you can give us a call at 224400-MARF. I appreciate you, Greg, and I would love for you to call in again. Tomorrow, we're actually going to be having our D-Live only show, so that would be great to have you call in then. Up next, we have, let's see here. And it doesn't say. Let's see here. Terry, first-time caller. You are live on Marfoogle News. Terry. Is it Terry or Camille?
Hey, Adam. Terry.
So you, it says that you want to talk about restrictions on Walmart and seeds. What is going on? Calling from Arizona.
Yes. Arizona, yeah. I do, I've been kind of preparing for something to happen, and my way of doing that is by being self-sufficiently producing my own food. And I heard they were like making seeds unavailable, and Walmart in particular, they cut the whole gardening section is like off limits. And I just think that's very odd that they would think that food is something that's not, something you need right now. Way to grow food anyway.
Okay, so I talked about this on Twitter. They not only, first of all, they were closing off the whole sections. They were holding back the holdback or spring back sale off, right? But not only that, they were physically stopping people from getting seeds and cordoning it off, and in some stores putting them away to where people wouldn't access them or even see them. I'm thinking, why would you not sell seeds to food? They said, and they had all these opinion pieces come out and say, Darlene, and it literally this opinion, kind of like this whole bitch-ass Barbara thing that was going around. It was saying, Darlene, you don't need to plant your tulips right now. It's not that important. It's not about the tulips.
Please.
It's about the plants. It's about the potatoes and the beans and the foods that are life-sustaining that we can grow ourselves. We should be able to have the ability to get those seeds. Do you agree?
Exactly. I am dependent on someone else for everything, and that's not okay.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of weird stuff going on here, and I just want you guys to keep your eyes open and to keep your head on a swivel. If you do need seeds, though, you guys should, and I totally encourage you. If there is seed companies online that use regular UPS or this or that, order them. They're not super crazy. You can get online sales way better than what's in Fred Meyer or Kroger's or wherever, and you can get everything online and get it shipped to your house in a day before they may restrict that ability. If you don't have the seeds now, if you don't have a place to plant them, you have to realize there's lots of places in the woods that you could go post up and grow your own plants. It's really not as hard as you'd think it is. So, no, I agree with you, Terry, and I think that's really weird. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go, Terry?
I just want to add that there's people who, there's a lot of ways to grow your own food, even in an apartment. It doesn't take much time.
You're right.
It's not hard. Most of the stuff you get from the grocery store right now will, if it's got seeds, a slice will, reproduce. And I just really encourage people to, there's not a lot. Everybody, everybody can do something, and being as non-dependent upon anybody else, as self-sufficient as possible is the best way to help not only yourself, but we all need to carry our own weight and be responsible.
Yeah, no, I think you are completely right, and I appreciate your call, Terry. I really want you to call in again, and after, in a couple weeks from now, let's see if these states still kind of do this kind of stuff. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Terry. I appreciate you, and I'd love to talk to you again. Up next, it looks like we have Camille. Camille, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hey, Mar. How you doing?
What's going on?
Oh, a lot, as you can tell. I'm gonna dump a lot of information on you, so just stick with me. But a side note, I wanted to tell you that I've been having this ringing in the ears and the sleeping issues, and my internet's faster than it's ever been, but I have the most terrible migraines. It's the weirdest thing. And it seems to be that a lot of people are experiencing that, and I just wanted to throw that out there.
It's weird because the people that are streaming out information, we're having the worst internet available. So it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, I know. It's intentional, I believe. But because your show is about Atlas, which I saw Atlas almost had a car wreck when I saw it for the first time because I knew it wasn't supposed to be there. And I was like, what in the world is that? And I pulled over to the side of the road and looked at it, and I got out, a constellation map, and it wasn't on there. And so it kind of piqued my interest, but I didn't think anything of it because I couldn't find any information on what it was. But since you're doing the show on kind of celestial things going on, I was going to take you through kind of a history of some very interesting interstellar events that have happened that I've been studying since 2013. And before I get roasted in the chat, I just want to say that I'm not saying that any of the inferences from these events are what I believe, but I just thought that they were interesting.
Well, just
over the course of history.
Just a disclaimer: whatever you want to do, just try to keep it as quick as possible. Our normal limit is 5 minutes, but if you can put out some stuff that is interesting, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So in 2013, on New Year's Eve, churches around the world started freaking out and doing these kind of emergency constellation studies and astrological studies in the church. It was very crazy. And what they were talking about was blood moon tetrads that were coming in 2014 and 2015. And what's significant about these blood moon tetrads is that the first blood moon of the year falls on the Feast of Passover, which is the first feast. And then the last blood moon falls on Feast of Tabernacles, which is the seventh and the last feast. And then it happens again on Passover and the seventh feast the following year. And so it's a really crazy coincidence. And throughout history, it's kind of signified important things happening in history. So in 2014, 2015, it was significant because it came on a Jubilee year, which was the seventh year in the agricultural cycle. And it was crazy. The churches were out on the rooftops during these feasts, like praying because they didn't know it was coming. Then in 2017, the Great American Solar Eclipse came through, which had a whole bunch of crazy coincidences happen with it as well, because the eclipse entered in through the 33rd state, which is Oregon, and then it exited through the 33rd parallel, which is somewhere on the East Coast. And we all know the significance of the number 33, which was Jesus' age at the end of his life. And there's going to be another eclipse coming in 2024 that crosses the United States in the opposite way, making this huge X. And like eclipses in the Bible have always been a sign of judgment. Like Jonah, an eclipse came to Nineveh before he came and pronounced judgment. And 40 days later, after this eclipse in 2017, the Revelation 12 sign theoretically appeared in the sky, which is the virgin who is crying out with birth pains, and she's got the beast waiting to devour a child and the moon at her feet and a crown of stars on her head. And Virgo was in the sky with Jupiter in her womb for 9 months before it was birthed out in September of 2017. And she had the constellation of Leo on her head and the sun at her feet. And this kind of configuration had not happened in 7,000 years. So it was significant, especially in the time period. So I just thought it was interesting to kind of point out that there have been an escalation of signs, if you choose to see them that way, for the past 7 years. And that's all.
No, and I've been seeing them, and I've been covering a lot of these things. It's like it seems like every week there's another sign that goes with something in the Bible, something with ancient lore. I mean, like it's almost like we just know in 2 weeks we'll have another super crazy sign from God, and that's why there's a good chunk in the audience, and just in 1 in 10 or 5 in 10 or 3 in 10, that's some part of them believe that we are truly in the last of days. And people have been saying, well, people say it's the end of days. They've said it for 40, 50, 60 years. That's because it's we're just a blip in time. So 100 years to these signs, that's one of our lifetimes, and that's just a blip. So yeah, of course they've been saying it for 60,
and
70, 100
years. And I always
say,
you may not know the day or the hour, but you can be aware of the season. And I'm pretty open-minded, and I like to look at things and think it could be this, and I like to live my life prepared as if it is, but also being open-minded about other possibilities, but this really sent ripples through the Christian community, where people really got their lives right with God during that period of time, because the Revelation 12 sign kind of signifies the coming of this leader who leads for 3.5 years. And if you think about elections and when people are inaugurated, it's about 3.5 years per presidential term. And we were right there at an election year, and there were arsons going on at every major university in the country. It was just like crazy, and it continues to get crazy and escalate. So I think there's an acceleration of events.
I don't even want to and bring up
inspire us to get right with God.
By the way, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I got to remind myself to talk about the cathedral, the Notre Dame. We'll talk about that tomorrow, and I'll bring that up in something that I learned about that just recently. Man, that's something that a lot of people, that day that fire happened, a lot of people got knocked off, and people are just now are starting new channels because that day when they covered and related it to the whole goat thing. I'll talk about that tomorrow. You guys are going to trip. Thank you so much for calling in, Camille. It's always a pleasure to have you, Marv.
I appreciate it.
All right, you have a wonderful night. You guys agree with her. Again, you guys can call us at 224-400-MARF. We have Conquest Josh is here. Conquest, you're live on Marfoogle News. What is going on?
Hey, what's going on, Marf? And what's up, Marfia? How's it going?
Hey, good. So I'm glad. I believe, is this Conquest Josh or just Conquest?
No, I changed all my names on all the platforms so it'd be easier for everybody to get to. So this is Conquest Josh, formerly known as Conquest.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's great because you said that you needed to get through, and you got through. So I'm glad you got there. I always tell people don't super chat. It doesn't help you getting through on the phone lines. We try to be fair, obviously. I think it's easy enough to get it in without doing that. So thank you. So now let's get into what you wanted to talk about. Let's see here. There we go. That was all messed up. Okay, so it says that there's a doctor nurse trying to force your kid to come in for a checkup at Kalita Air carrying the specialized shipping container sized bio something. You want to explain this, and then I'll pull up the links that you have here?
Okay, so it's actually two different stories, which both happened yesterday. The very first is we got a call. My wife got a call first, and then I called back. We got a call from my daughter's doctor's office, and it was from the nurse that works with the doctor. And they were trying to do everything that they could to talk us into getting both parents and my daughter, who is 5 years old, to go to the doctor's office to get checked up. Now, my daughter, we were having a little bit of issues with her paying attention and stuff, but nothing that, you know, any 5-year-old wouldn't have any problem with. Anyway, so this nurse basically told my wife, who is also a nurse, and myself that my daughter needed to come in to get a checkup, and basically that us as parents didn't have the right to make the decision on what to do or not to do with my daughter, that it was solely in the hands of the doctor. And she was being extremely rude. So that was really trying to force us into the doctor's office when they've been saying, hey, don't go to the doctor unless it's life-threatening, was kind of uneasy. It was very scary for us to be a part of. And then my second story, I know I have just a little bit of time here. It has to do with Comet Air. Now, I live in Northeast Michigan, close by to the Alpena Regional Airport, which also has a military base, a part of it. It's called the Alpena Combat Readiness Training Center. And we're used to having military planes flying around, but I've grown up here all my life, and we aren't used to having giant 747s flying around. So as soon as I saw this plane yesterday, which is the same day that I got called from the nurse, I grabbed my video camera and I filmed it in the air, and then I took off to the airport to try and get a closer look at it. But they were able to land before I was able to get there, which is only a matter of minutes because I live so close. Now, from the road, the main road that runs by the airport, you can literally see every runway there. And where they park all the big planes, they landed this plane and hid it out of the eye of the public. And I drove by there today, and it is still hidden. I have people that live by there that pay attention to all the air traffic who are retired. They love watching the planes fly by, and yesterday they did confirm that that plane did land and that that plane was hidden out of sight. So this plane is a Comet Air 747-400F, and they have been used to transport specialized shipping container size biocontainment system.
People it's basically like a plug and play little quarantine box, right? Like what was shown in that picture.
Exactly. And I did a video on my adventures with this airplane yesterday, and I go into all of that and I show pictures and everything. So if anybody wants to watch the video, it's up there on my YouTube page. But I just found it really weird because I've been living here for 30 years. I was in the military. I was part of an airborne division, so I am used to all the airplanes and everything and what everything looks like. And I'm used to all the air traffic that's around here because all the airplanes fly over my house to actually do their landing run. And we've never had this giant 747 fly over. So I thought that was kind of weird, and I needed to investigate. I literally was working on a chicken hut because I got chickens, and I ran inside and I grabbed my video camera and I immediately started to film it, and I got up close enough to show that the plane was unmarked. It was a white 747-400F, and it said in red letters, Kalita Air on it.
So essentially, it's there. You don't know. Oh, weird. Look at this. Wait a second. This has like a presidential seal on it, almost, or FEMA. That's weird.
Exactly. It is very weird. And Alpina's Combat Readiness Training Center, as well as many of the churches around the Alpena area, have been approached to become a treatment center for the CV. We have 0 patients here in our county. I've been paying attention to it. We have 0 patients here, but yet we have our military base ramping up for a huge invasion of this pestilence.
Wow. So I would love for you to, and by the way, so we can easily help Conquest Josh get over 1,000 like right now. Super easy. All of my mods, WV, J Stone, whoever is in here tonight, CJ Blaze, Lisa R. Hall, make sure to post his link. We're going to have your link on our website. You guys, the Love Mob is where we go over and we say hi. We pop over to whatever video. Boom, boom. And literally, look at this. Already 411. Boom, 11 of you guys have gone over. I'm gonna go over to the comments, and I'm actually gonna refresh it, and I'm gonna say hi to you guys in real time. So if you're watching this live, you can literally go say hi to me right now, and I'm gonna see whoever pops up here on the top. It's gonna be unless you turned off comments on this one. Wait a second here. I'm looking in the wrong place, aren't I? There we go. Look at this. 9 hours ago. Somebody comment right here. What is up? Boom. This is kind of cool. It's your way of, well, I know that you can just do it in the chat, but right here, you can put it here, and then I can see it, and then it will be on the show that you commented. So I'm going to refresh. Boom, watch this. This is going to be super cool. Let's see how many people go over. Conquest Josh, I hope that you get to 1,000 by tomorrow. I really do. I know that a lot of people.
Wonderful. I've been paying attention to the sky, just like it says in the Bible. My mom has been helping do a bunch of research, helping to find out, things that I'm not seeing, and I'm doing the same for her. She's going by the name of Conquest Mama, and she wants to say hi.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm AKA Jen Kassler.
Well, Jen, Conquest Mama, Jen, it's so nice to meet you too. Next time we'll head over and do a love mob for you guys. Well, thank you guys for both calling in. I appreciate you, and I want you guys to check him out. He's putting out a lot of effort into his channel. He is he's actually putting a lot of videos out, so make sure to go check out Conquest Josh. He's done a really great job in the past. You've always been very positive, always somebody who's got your eyes peeled for the worst and for the best, and you keep it positive. So, Conquest Josh, thank you so much. Conquest Mama, Jen, love you very much, and thank you guys for calling in.
Yeah, no problem, Mark. We love you, and God bless, and everybody stay safe. Be careful with your children. Make sure you fight for them, because they're out there to do some bad things.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Conquest family, out. All right, I wanted to pop up. I'm going to pop up. I love doing the love mob because it. You know what? You guys can all play a part. And not only that, you guys can literally change somebody's outcome instantly in one night. We've done it to where somebody had 30 subscribers. In fact, what's his face did his 100 subscriber special. He worked at it for months. Anthony Electric. He was 13 years old and he was already doing videos. Somebody from the Foogle family suggested him. You guys remember that? Where he was making batteries and prepper supplies at 13, making advanced teaching people how to make advanced like batteries that you could put into prep supplies. So we did a love mob, and by the end of the show, he just finished his 100 subscriber special, which he worked really hard for. By the end of the show that night, we had him to 1,000, and he was monetized, and he was being suggested in the thing, and it gave him a huge boost. It was really awesome, and he was getting suggested. We've done this over 300 times now. We have 300 creators. We've gotten to 1,000 or more and monetized, which normally I don't. The only bad part about that is people don't. I've stopped doing it just for just everybody will and nil that has 2 subscribers, because they don't respect that, you know, a lot of people put a lot of work into it. So if I see somebody that has 100, 200, and it's all on their own, that's where you do the love mob, because those people not only appreciate it, they've been working hard, they've been putting videos out. That's why we put our minimum on the creators corner in our Discord, because you have to understand, you can't just start a channel and get there and then make it. What we were seeing is people weren't understanding why they weren't just getting a ton of views and a ton of this, because they were doing it out of order. It takes a long time. YouTube or any platform, all of you creators know exactly what I'm talking about. This is a lot of work. Maybe somebody who just turns on their camera and plays video games, and by the way, not saying all of them, I'm saying if you just turn on the camera and just kind of talk and say, hey, that might not be a lot of work. But the way that editing, doing all these things, it turns into just an all-consuming thing. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys for going over and helping all of the creators that we end up doing a love mob to. So I'm going to pop open one more time his link. Dex, you know what I mean. Did you think YouTube and creating your own channel was going to be as hard as it was?
Oh, and I have a little extra help, and yeah, it's still difficult. It's a lot of work, and these creators that go the distance, they create content, trying to get over that hump. That first hump is so hard because you're not getting anything from the platform. The platform does nothing to help you. You have to find a way to get to that first 1,000 all on your own.
And and that's again, like when we were giving that to people for free, they didn't understand that some people work. Literally, remember the guy that was in the show? He said he spent 2.5 years getting 600 subscribers or something. And I'm thinking, we've given somebody 1,000 in one night. This person just worked 2.5 years. But then at that point too, and I will say this, I'll just be brutally honest. If you're at 600 subscribers after 2 years of straight putting videos out, you either need to start a new channel, or you might need to just completely not give up, change your focus, because there's no way you should be at that after 2.5 years. You might want to, because I think people are stubborn. They want to do it the way that they think it's done, and it doesn't work. That's why I'm working on creating some videos for you guys to show you guys what I do to make it work. We've reached millions and millions of people by this point. It's crazy. So it's all through trial and error, and I didn't have anybody to tell me, and I wish I had somebody to tell me. So that's what we're doing for other people. Yeshua Shafar, thank you, says Warriors of Valor. Thank you so much for the diamond. Love the Sax Enchanted by you. Thank you for the lemons. For all the folks donating lemons, thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of them. And especially when 10 of you guys give a lemon, that's an ice cream. And if 10 of you do ice creams, that's a diamond. And 10 of you do diamonds, that's a Ninja Genie. I know people on YouTube are like, what are you talking about? It's the form of donations. It's a decentralized platform over there, and it's actually it's really awesome. Cincy says simp. Well, thank you, Cincy, or Simp C. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Deep Fried Ohio Gravy. What is going on? Popped over to D Live. On my YouTube side, Tara R. Thank you so much for the super chat. Herd Bowl. Thank you again. You don't have to do that again, and you didn't even write anything. Always try to write a message. I like reading the messages. Ilea says, I got 100 subs from my first call with you. That's awesome. Ilea, I appreciate you, and thank you for sticking around for years now. I want to say you've probably been here 2 years now. John Iverson, keep on speaking truth to power. Damn the man, fight the system. John Iverson, thank you for your support. Aldo Gargano, thank you for following. Henry Brown, thank you for your multiple supports tonight. Conquest Josh, thank you for calling in. Let's pop open Conquest Josh. And that was another piece of advice that I've given multiple people. Make your name so it's findable. If people can't find you just by typing in what your name is, then that's not good. Look at this. From 400, 369 subscribers in the last 5 minutes. That is absolutely amazing. Oh my goodness, I just about restarted myself and my pants. There we go. So 246 views from 40 views. So about 200 people popped over there. 100 people popped over here. Look at that. We're going to refresh this through the shoutro. Which, by the way, Dex, I love you, man. You are my favorite out of you.
Well, you're my favorite out of you too, and I love you too. Adam.
Out of
so
all of my co-hosts, you're my favorite. Just to let you know. Yeah. And I don't like all of them.
I'm glad I'm in that category.
I'm glad. And my mods.
Great show. Have a good night.
Our mods are extremely respected. They do a lot of work. We're putting a surprise for them as well. So thank you guys. I appreciate all of you. Thank you guys for being patient with me. Love you all. CJ Blaze, thanks. And Jay Stone, thanks for always putting all the links to everybody. West Virginia, Lisa R. Hall. I hope if you're not here tonight, I hope you're doing well. Everybody's having a lot of just a lot of life happening right in their face. So everybody pray for our mods. And somebody asked, do you believe in God? Absolutely, I believe in God. I don't put it on the show when I see people that are like heavily pushed. I just don't. I hate to say it, but there's some that heavily push God, and then it starts to get to the point where you think they're pushing God to. If I don't push God where there's donations put in play. I don't think you should mix those two. I make it very clear what my beliefs are, and I don't push it on anybody else. I think the vibe here and how we treat each other speaks for itself. So, but not only that, I'm not afraid of somebody calling in, and we allow prayer. We allow a lot of stuff here. And I think that things should go back to how they used to be in a lot of ways. Where are the morals? Where are the respect? Where are the polite, things that used to happen? Now, this politically correct movement had, good intentions. It's just garbage, though. Sorry. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now it is officially time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. It's where I say thank you to the people I really appreciate most, and that is you. Without you, this show would not matter one bit. If you guys didn't show up to every single show, if you guys didn't wait for our alerts, if you guys didn't wait for us to go live, we wouldn't exist. So, through this time especially, I appreciate you more than I ever have before, and thank you guys for the people that support. I'm going to go through all of the supporters for tonight. Just can't say enough thank you to everybody. It's unbelievable how much love you guys have. So, thank you. Much love.
I'm sorry. The internet and I aren't talking right now.
Okay, that's creepy. Booyah shakalaka. Thank you. Deep fried Ohio gravy. Love you. Yeshua Shofar. Gene Blythe, you've been here for a very long time, too. For Skeeter, Linda Way, Sant Mike, Mandy, Colby Jack, Leslie Lady. Let's get it popping up in here.
Half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas. Half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas. Half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas. Half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas. Half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas. Half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas. Half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun.
Ghostly, FPV, and Stephen Diaz, and Lysandra Stewart. Don't hate the name. Marjorie and the number 2 pencil. Big Daddy 1279 a stew. Melinda and the Stony Stone and the Cheryl and Nigel view on things. Najia 9 and Abba G, Gonzo 75 and the rest of my Mr. Megan and Mr. C. Thanks Juanita for being in there with Stellium, Sonia, and the Karma is here with the April Osborne in here. Is why we do cowbells. Why we do the cowbells. Did someone ask for more cowbell?
Atlas, half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun coming at ya. Half the size of the sun.
Brian 77 ENG and the rest is in heaven with Summer Ellis and Katie Byers and rest of me, T-Bori. Gotta say, with the Gonzo 75 with that Sandra Stewart and Franny Katie. Gonna bring it back now, we hate ya. Bring it back now, I'm later. Bring it right back with the style of Enchanted by you. Doing what you do with the net G20 and we do is smoke some. Juanita and Kobe Jack got that Sylvia with that Margie and that I know it D with the and everybody gonna see me with the triple D. Big 6 hour fear porn and it's got to be the bottom of the hour. Lubo Boy, CJ Blaze with the heaven ain't easy. Gonna bring it back like Ozo season. No mofo, roll you seize it. Gonna bring it back down, now it's easy. Oh, ha, gotta bring it back on down. Gotta bring it back on down.
Coming at ya, half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun. Coming at ya, half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun. Coming at ya, half the size of the sun. Atlas, half the size of the sun.
Remember,
you can go to Marfoogle. If you didn't hear that, that's Marfoogle News. Is that how we like it?
love the song. Says I just wanna be Juanita and shake little blue white. Gonna stay with Raph and Jim and that King Cut smell a die and everyone in between. Oh. Just wanna ride all the way through that calmness, right? And we know
I'm about to go say, Tom Quick Jack and Alex gotta go, better go, gotta feel back now, we going high, we got dollar do now, Saldana, bring it back like Madonna, sitting in a bathtub like a weirdo, saying it's got equalizer, gonna say I ain't no liar, time to turn it not for one with down therapy, better feel better coming back round now, you gotta get the hype, let's say. Thanks for the tip attack. Gonna bring it back now. I got my back. Wait, don't talk about that. Take that might get you beat. Monica, stop, tiger that. Bring it back, do that, do that, do that. Get that, hey, stop, get it, jump, die. Get that, get it, die. Get that, get it, die. Get that, get it, die. Get that, die. Get that, get it, die. Get that, die. Get that, get it, die. Get that, get it, die.
Half the size of the sun coming at you.
Gotta get that day. Gotta get that day. Give it up, get that day. Give it up, get it, 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 that day.
Everybody,
that day. Give it up, get it, that day.
Got to funkify. You've got to walk on the wrong side. If you really want to go with the John Iverson, you've got to walk on the road. Those and the rest of them sweet REMs. Got to say, it's about to be the Cherokee moon. Check a walk and know what's this soon gonna come. I said gonna come.
Give it up, get it, that day. Give it up, get it, that day. Give it up, get it, that day.
Number one, luckiest follower is Channel Jammer and Derail and Wascally Wabbit. I've never sharded. Now with Jam Jam by my side we parted.
That day, give it up, get it, that day. Give it up, get it, that day. Give it up, get it, that day. Give it up, get it, that day.
Cowbell is gonna be cowbell without the cowbell. What is cowbell?
Give it up, get it, that day. 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 Give it up, get it, that day.
Cowbell is where we see now. You've got to see now. I've never seen now. Shastina and the melody and the Grego too will see why they sigh. Cutie Kitty Katrina King Kata Sweet Rams and Noi Abi and the Ram. Sweet Rams, Sweet Rams and Lucky Ticky too. What's up, Pastuo, Starmy, 7572, and Mama Sherry. Gotta bring it like that, Joe Dirt Harry. Gonna bring Channel J
jam right down. Dairy is what I drink, but I am allergic. Gonna bring it down, and we gotta get purpose, and we gotta all see it. It's all coming back now like diarrhea. Like this disease, gotta leave. Open up the door and say bye. Peace, gotta see ya. Hey, Shastina, and everybody else coming down in the greener. Where's that on the other side? Gonna go back with the ghostly FPV in my ride. Hey, bye, bye, melody and the melody. Die, 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 die. I don't wanna Enchanted by you, Stormy 7572. Trinity, red or blue pill, heaven ain't easy. Red in the valley. We haven't even started with Mr. Chardin. I love ghetto milk like the great Scott Captain. Go see you down with the auto Gargano. Mr. Chicano, auto Gargano. Gonna bring it back like I want the piano. Gonna play that, gonna play that, gonna play that. Marfoogle. it back to where we used to start it. And you know we saw in the Foogle fam. Gotta bring it down, not name this block. And that gotta do what they can with the Susudio and the JTM and the Ray Week. And we're gonna bring it back, and we all know what we want. Spending no time with that lots of love. Lots of love, we gotta bring that love. Come down, it's me, Amy, AK, Mini 70. Oh, you know, it's so appreciated. People like Mini 70, Carol Palmer, and the rest of those people that never give up. Thank you for supporting us through this, and I wouldn't be here without people like you. Amy R, aka Mini 70, and Herman the Great, Go Hawks, Dre's Visual Arts, and Lizzie Who, 84, and the Pat Mini Box, and the Bring It Back, and You Never Take a Walk, Carol Palmer, 512, Zippy Moons, and Gone Girl, 777 with a Blue Night, 602, 602. Oh, just walk it out. Zippy Moons, Lady GT 476. Thank you for being in the top 5 ever that have survived. Susan Donahue, I thank you. AKA Mini 70, Susan Donahue, Pat Lady Fox, Carol Palmer too. Y'all in the wrong, sweet Melissa, gotta go down, we on, down. You got to bring it. Oh, you gotta hit it back, and you know that we do that. I'm about to go back and walk through the cutie kitty and the Capuchin, Rusty Bumper, Elsa Einstein, and the Einstein's mom with the dreamer. Bones and the Charlie Abercrombie doing everything he wants to do, but never gonna get on me. Oh, just calm down, it's just me. Gonna Gregor to you and to the Sean White. Gotta bring his old tongue tablets. And I know that I know it be with the Lindsay's. Gotta go off in a stormy. Never gonna put out the fire, it's warned me. Oh, never gonna do, and I'm never gonna do. And yes, it's true, she rocks. Susan Donahue, gonna walk it down, gonna walk it back, doesn't matter now.
Let's make a fresh one. Let's make a fresh one from scratch.
Let's make a fresh one from scratch. What do you got? This one is dedicated to Amy, aka Mini 70, Carol Palmer, Susan Donahue, Pat Leading Fox.
Let's do it. Maybe we'll make it a little bit slower.
done it first in the first place.
Sometimes you're on fire, sometimes you're numb. Sometimes you're on fire, sometimes you're numb.
die and that sweet ranch. You've got to see
the way they are. And you know that we've got to see that nah. You've got to calm down. It's just me. I've got the Foogle fan. F-A-L. Rafaela Diaz Avedo. You've got to say, I don't care, though. Yeah, Firestone, thanks for being here. Mama Charming, I've got to say, I do care. A conquest mama, thanks for calling in now. You just got to spin round. They just want to go hey on you. They don't care about what you do. Sassina, thanks for you. Alien workshops and a name is blah. I just woke down and cupcake Jenny gotta bring it back. You just gotta stop the beat once in a while, and you gotta bring it back down. By the way, Conquest Josh is only 170 subscribers away from 1,000. Make sure to go to marfooglenews.com if you can't find him. His link will be on our website, marfooglenews.com.
Thank you. All the music here was made live. Thank you. I appreciate your support. And if you would like to check out some of our other videos, make sure to go to marfooglenews.com. Pretty much everything is at marfooglenews.com. Don't forget about marfooglenews.com. Make sure to go look over there at marfooglenews.com. It's 11:54 p.m. on the 7th of something, April. 22 days before the end of the world, according to some. The start of the shoutro for others. Have a good night. This is how to join our Discord.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to marfooglenews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle fam is waiting for you.
All of this was just chair Zumba. This entire show was started for chair Zumba.
We are hosting Def Mike tonight. Make sure, if he's still alive,